Welcome to our deep dive into Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, a
Yeah.
book that kind of sets out to understand why some people achieve like extraordinary success.
Mm,
You've shared a summary from creativeaspirant.com, and we're going to use
mhm.
it to explore, the fascinating world of high achievers
Yeah.
and see what surprising factors might be at play.
Right. Outliers is it's a real page turner, I gotta say,
Oh, yeah.
because it challenges like the traditional narrative of success. You know,
Yeah.
Gladwell really digs into the hidden advantages that often contribute to someone becoming an outlier,
hmm
like timing, cultural background, opportunities, things like that.
So the book starts with a concept called the Matthew effect.
Right.
What is that all about?
So the Matthew effect is this idea that even small advantages can compound over time,
Right.
creating these massive differences in outcomes.
Interesting.
It's like that saying, the rich get richer.
Yeah.
Gladwell uses the example of Canadian hockey players.
Okay.
Those born earlier in the year have a head start because of how the leagues are structured.
hmm
They get more playing time, more coaching,
hmm
ultimately increasing their odds of becoming pros.
So are we saying that success is just a matter of being born at the right time?
Not entirely.
Okay.
Gladwell uses this example to highlight how seemingly insignificant initial advantages
Right.
can create a snowball effect,
Right.
but it's not destiny.
Yeah.
It's about how those initial advantages open doors to more opportunities.
Okay. So it's not just like you're
Right.
predestined for this because you're born in January.
Exactly.
It's that it gives you that leg up and then other things come from that.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes you wonder how many talented people never get that initial boost.
Right.
Speaking of advantages, Gladwell also introduces the 10,000-hour rule.
Right.
The idea that mastery requires like a significant amount of dedicated practice.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about Bill Joy, who basically lived in the computer lab during his college years and became like a pioneer in the tech world.
Yeah. Joy's story, along with Bill Gates,
Yeah.
illustrates how those hours of practice are essential, but often require access to the right resources at the right time.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
these guys had extraordinary access to computers when they were still a novelty to most people.
Right.
And that early exposure allowed them to put in those crucial hours that ultimately contributed to their success.
I think a lot of people get discouraged by the 10,000-hour rule.
Yeah.
Like assuming it means endless grinding with no guarantee of success.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But Gladwell isn't suggesting we all become obsessive workaholics.
Okay.
It's about understanding that deliberate practice,
Mm-hmm.
combined with opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
plays a significant role in achieving mastery.
Right.
But what's interesting is that Gladwell doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He tackles the question of genius
Uh-huh.
and finds that a high IQ doesn't always translate to success.
That's definitely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't someone with a high IQ achieve a lot?
So Gladwell contrasts the stories of Christopher Langman,
Okay.
who has an exceptionally high IQ,
Mm-hmm.
with Robert Oppenheimer, who led the Manhattan Project.
Right.
Both were brilliant,
Yeah.
but Oppenheimer achieved a level of success that eluded Langman.
Interesting.
Gladwell suggests that while IQ is important, it's not the only factor.
Okay.
He introduces the idea of practical intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
which includes things like social skills,
Okay.
knowing how to navigate complex situations, and being able to work effectively with others.
So are you saying that street smarts are more important than book smarts?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Gladwell is highlighting that raw intelligence isn't enough.
Right.
You also need the ability to apply that intelligence in real-world situations.
Yeah.
And that often comes down to things like social skills and the ability to communicate effectively. These are skills that are often developed through upbringing and social interaction.
Oh, interesting.
And that brings us to another fascinating aspect of Outliers, the role of culture.
I remember the book delves into a really intriguing case study about Harlan, Kentucky.
Yes.
What was that all about?
So Gladwell examines how a culture of honor in Harlan shaped the behavior of its residents, sometimes leading to feuds and violence.
Right.
But he also argues that this same cultural heritage can foster ambition and a strong work ethic.
So you're saying that even a culture that might seem negative in some ways can have hidden benefits.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's a reminder that cultural influences are complex and multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
They shape our values,
Yeah.
our perceptions of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and even our responses to challenges.
Yeah.
It's like wearing a particular set of glasses that influences how you see everything.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that understanding cultural influences can be key to understanding why some people succeed while others struggle.
Precisely.
Right.
And that cultural lens becomes particularly important when Gladwell tackles a completely different topic in Outliers. Plane crashes.
Okay, this is where I remember getting really intrigued.
Yeah.
What does culture have to do with plane crashes?
So Gladwell explores the ethnic theory of plane crashes,
Okay.
suggesting that cultural factors,
Mm-hmm.
especially those related to communication and authority,
Right.
can play a role in cockpit dynamics.
That sounds a bit controversial.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Sure. So Gladwell examines cases like Korean Air,
Okay.
which had a string of accidents in the 1990s.
Oh, wow.
He suggests that their communication style,
Mm-hmm.
rooted in a culture with a high power distance,
Okay.
where junior pilots might hesitate to directly question a senior pilot,
Right.
could have been a contributing factor to these accidents.
So you're saying that cultural norms around hierarchy and communication
Yes.
can impact safety in high-stakes situations.
This is a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But Gladwell's point is that understanding these cultural nuances can be critical,
Mm-hmm.
especially in environments where clear communication is paramount.
Right. It makes you wonder, what are the unspoken rules and communication norms in our own workplaces or
Yeah.
communities?
Mm.
And could they potentially hinder success or
Yeah.
even create like unintended risks?
For sure.
That's a really important question to consider. We've covered a lot of ground so far.
Yeah, we have.
The Matthew effect, the 10,000-hour rule, the importance of practical intelligence, and the influence of culture.
Right.
All of these factors seem to play a role in shaping an individual's path to success.
Right.
But where does that leave the rest of us
That's the
who
question.
weren't born at the perfect time in the perfect place with the perfect set of advantages?
That's a question Gladwell directly addresses.
Yeah.
And it leads us to one of the most inspiring parts of Outliers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So far, we've seen how timing, opportunity, and cultural background
Right.
can all contribute to someone becoming an outlier. But I'm curious, does Gladwell offer any insights for those of us
Yeah.
who may not have had those advantages?
Mm-hmm.
Is there still room for hope?
Absolutely. Outliers isn't just about highlighting the factors that lead to success.
Okay.
It's also about exploring how we can create more opportunities for success.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Gladwell introduces the incredibly inspiring story of the KPP Academy.
I vaguely remember this from the book. Remind me, what is the KPP Academy?
So KPP stands for Knowledge is Power Preparatory. It's a network of public charter schools primarily serving low-income students in the United States.
Mm.
And what makes KPP so remarkable is that its students consistently outperform their peers from similar socioeconomic backgrounds,
Right.
even achieving college graduation rates that rival those of affluent students.
That's incredible. How do they do it?
Right.
What's their secret sauce?
It's not magic,
Okay.
but it's pretty close.
Okay.
So KPP schools have a longer school day and a longer school year,
Okay.
giving students more time for learning and enrichment.
Interesting.
They also have a strong culture of hard work, discipline, and high expectations.
Hmm.
And perhaps most importantly, they emphasize character development,
Okay.
teaching students essential life skills like grit, resilience, and self-control.
So it's not just about spending more time in the classroom.
Right.
It's about creating an environment that fosters both academic and personal growth.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And that's why KIPP is such a powerful example.
Yeah.
It shows that while we can't control all the factors that contribute to success, we can create environments that maximize effort and opportunity.
Right. It's like Gladwell is saying, look, I know the world isn't a level playing field,
Right.
but we can build ladders to help more people climb it.
That really resonates with me. Outliers isn't just a celebration of exceptional individuals.
Right.
It's also a call to action,
Yeah.
urging us to think about how we can create more equitable opportunities for everyone to succeed.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And that idea really challenges us to think differently about the nature of success.
Oh.
It's not just about individual grit.
Right.
It's about recognizing the systemic factors that can either hinder or empower individuals to reach their full potential.
So Outliers focuses mainly on success as it's traditionally defined
Yeah.
achievement in fields like business, music, or academia.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if these concepts apply more broadly.
Okay.
What about success in relationships and personal growth, or even in contributing to our communities?
That's a brilliant question.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. The principles Gladwell explores can be applied to all sorts of life goals.
Okay.
The idea that small advantages can compound over time,
Mm-hmm.
that consistent effort is crucial,
Yeah.
that cultural influences shape our perceptions and behaviors.
Right.
These are universal insights.
So maybe instead of just reading Outliers as a guide to achieving worldly success,
Right.
we can use it as a framework for understanding how people thrive in all aspects of life.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It's like Gladwell is giving us not just a set of answers,
Yeah.
but a whole new set of questions to consider.
Right.
What would it look like to apply the principles of Outliers to create a more equitable and just society?
Yeah.
How could we use this understanding to nurture potential and create opportunities where they might not have existed before?
These are thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Outliers such a compelling read.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't offer easy solutions or a one-size-fits-all formula for success, but it does give us a powerful framework for understanding the complex interplay of factors that shape our lives and our achievements.
I agree. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions about success, about talent, and about the very nature of opportunity. And it leaves us with a sense of possibility,
Yeah.
a reminder that while we may not be able to control all the factors that contribute to success,
Right.
we can certainly influence some of them.
And that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive into Outliers. It's a book that sparks so many interesting conversations and challenges us to think differently about the world around us.
It's a reminder that success is often a complex tapestry,
Yeah.
woven from threads of individual effort, cultural heritage,
Right.
historical circumstance,
Yeah.
and yes, even a bit of luck.
And perhaps instead of simply marveling at the achievements of Outliers,
Right.
we can all work toward creating a world where more people have the opportunity to weave their own tapestries of success.
Well said. I
Yeah.
think that's the ultimate challenge Outliers throws down.
Yeah.
It's not just a book to be read.
Right.
It's a call to action, an invitation to build a world where success stories become less about the extraordinary few
Yeah.
and more about the potential within us all.
So to our listener, if you haven't already read Outliers, I highly recommend adding it to your list.
For sure.
It's a book that will make you think, question, and maybe even see the world a little differently.
And as you go about your day, I encourage you to consider the insights we've discussed.
Yeah.
Look for the subtle ways the Matthew effect might be at play in your own life.
Reflect on the cultural influences that have shaped your values and your approach to challenges. And most importantly, think about how you can create opportunities both for yourself and for others to unlock hidden potential and achieve extraordinary things.
That's it for our deep dive into Outliers.
Great discussion.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself. It's fascinating to consider how these seemingly disparate ideas, from hockey players' birthdays to communication styles and cockpits, all connect to paint this broader picture of success.
What's so compelling about Outliers is that it encourages us to look beyond individual stories and consider the systemic and often hidden factors that contribute to someone's achievements.
I think that shift in perspective is really important.
Yeah.
Instead of simply celebrating the outliers,
Right.
we should be asking how we can create a world where more people
Have the opportunity to achieve their full potential.
Gladwell doesn't offer easy answers or a step-by-step guide to becoming an outlier.
Yeah.
But he does provide a powerful framework for understanding the complex web of advantages, opportunities,
Right.
and cultural influences that shape our lives.
I particularly like how Outliers highlights the importance of cultural legacy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a reminder that we're all products of our environments and that our values, beliefs, and behaviors are often deeply rooted in the cultures we inherit.
Absolutely. Understanding our own cultural influences can be incredibly valuable,
Yeah.
both personally and professionally.
Right.
It allows us to recognize the strengths we bring to the table, but also the potential blind spots that might hinder our success
Yeah.
or our ability to connect with others from different backgrounds.
And that brings us back to the idea that Outliers isn't just a book about individual achievement. It's
Right.
a book about creating a more equitable and just society.
I think that's the lasting message Gladwell leaves us with. If we want to see more people thrive, we need to work toward creating environments that provide equitable opportunities for everyone,
Right.
regardless of their background or circumstances.
Outliers is a book that stays with you long after you finish reading it.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes you question assumptions, rethink your own experiences,
Hmm.
and perhaps even see the world a little differently.
It's an invitation to become more aware of the often invisible forces that shape our lives.
Right.
And to think critically about how we can leverage those forces for good.
We've had a great time exploring the key insights from Outliers.
Yeah, it's been a great discussion.
What are your final takeaways for our listener?
I'd encourage our listener to think about how the Matthew effect might be playing out in their own life.
Okay.
Where they get an early advantage,
Right.
and how can they use their current position to create opportunities for others.
That's great advice. I'd also add that reflecting on your own cultural heritage can be incredibly illuminating. How have the values and beliefs you've inherited shaped your journey?
Right.
And how can you use that understanding to bridge cultural divides and create more inclusive environments?
Those are excellent points.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Outliers reminds us that we're all connected
Yeah.
and that creating a world where everyone has the chance to succeed benefits us all.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up our depth dive into Outliers.
Okay.
We hope you found this exploration as insightful and thought-provoking as we did.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for a book that will challenge your thinking and broaden your perspective, definitely add Outliers to your reading list.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep striving to make a positive impact on the world around you.